Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. So I'm an adjunct professor at a community college in Phoenix, and earlier this year, I made it a goal to be able to leave Phoenix for at least half the summer because last summer I felt really sick working through the summer. Not because of work, but because of the temperatures there. Yesterday it hit 118. It was really nice to read how hot it was without actually having to live through it. That was nice. I felt really badly for my friends over there, obviously, but it was nice for once to read it and not live it. But earlier today I found myself missing my work, but there are a couple of things that I don't miss about my work. When I think of what I made a list of what I got relief from during my vacation, and I came to realize none of it had to do with the core issues at work. And let me make the list, and then I'll tell about what I learned from this experience. Number one thing that I don't miss is definitely the commute by a far margin. I drive 40 minutes each way sometimes, and it's just a complete loss, right? I'm not making new connections while I'm doing that. It's obviously not doing any good thing for my health. It's just a complete loss. The only nice thing is that sometimes on the radio I hear a new song that I hadn't heard before. By new, I mean like a 1980s song that I didn't even know existed. So sometimes that happens. But that's about the only bright spot about my commute. I wish I could take a bus or a train. See, here in Taiwan, I spend almost as much time going from here to Taipei as I do when I'm back home. But instead of it being in a jail cell, it's in a speed dating event, aka a train ride, right? And so, big difference in my opinion. I wish the United States would see it that way. That our biggest asset is our connectivity with other people. All right, commute number one. Number two, the facilities of the campus. So obviously, the campus might not have somewhere for me to cook my own meals. Sometimes I want to clean up a little bit. I got to go to. We do have a gym where I could take a shower, but oftentimes the it might not be as hot as I want, and so not only that's a minor issue. The bigger issue is that sometimes the poor facilities make it hard for me to keep up with my life goals, especially binge eating problems that I'm recovering from, especially. Uh, you guys know I love intermittent fasting. Sometimes the facilities kind of get in the way of doing that. All right, facilities issues number two. Number three, posture. Posture, posture. I can't tell you how many times I get to the classroom, I'm all excited about teaching something. I got a favorite example that I love to use, right? One of my favorites when we learn about scientific notation and calculating math equations with a lot of scientific notation. My favorite example is to calculate how much of my bismuth has turned into thallium since I began my art career 3 years ago now, right? That's one of my favorite examples. And then sometimes I go on to talk about what's the probability that in a moment all of my bismuth just poof turns into gold, right? I love doing that example because you got to take an exponential of a big exponential. And I think about all these fun examples I could show to my students in the calculus or college level algebra class. And then I go to the classroom and I quickly realize, oh my God, my neck is going to hurt, even though I love these examples, right? Posture issues. Sometimes posture issues send me into a dilemma because I like to have extra space, but sometimes I get a student who really loves what I'm teaching, decides to sit really close, and you know what? I don't want to bother them. I love having students that aren't daydreaming about something else during the class, but now my posture issue is even more constrained, right? Number four, scheduling matters. Sometimes there are things that I like to be doing and I can't because, well, that's a minor sacrifice, but it's still something, right? Number five is we got this office politics that, I wish people would come up to me when something bothered them, right? So, for example, if I had accidentally left a mess in the break room because I got too excited with one of my students, if I said something that hurt their feelings, I wish they would tell me directly. Instead, a lot of times people just jump to HR, right? I think we have a situation where everybody's trying to outdo everybody, and we've kind of lost our way. But you may have noticed all 5 of these issues I mentioned only border my work very tangentially. I can't think of a time. I can't think of a time. Oh my god, I hate this student. I hate this material. No, never. Which is what makes it all the more frustrating that you can love your. I don't know how I should even say this. I love my work but hate the job. Right? I don't even know how I should say this. But anyway, that's how I feel about it. It makes me realize the next time I see somebody who seemingly has a dream job, that I realize that there's probably a lot of stuff that I'm not seeing. Right? This is the Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum